We have a 1998 Dodge Durango with a 5.2 liter V8, and we have a crank no start. So the first thing I wanted to do is check for spark, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so here I have my inline spark tester connected directly on the spark plug, and I have the spark plug wire going into the other end. So what we're gonna do is test for spark. Okay, so right here I have the Lio spark tester connected, just to show you guys another way of testing this. And I can't, since I'm just doing this alone, I can't possibly, turn the key over and hold this here at the same time. So what I did is I just taped it in place, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the lights in here so you could get a better view and see if it actually sparks or sends a ignition signal. So as you can see, using the inline spark tester and the Lio spark tester, we are not getting any spark to the spark plugs. So the next thing I want to check is the ignition coil. And that's this guy right here. As you can see, the alternator is right here. So it's very accessible. Let's go ahead and take this off. And we're gonna plug that end into the inline spark tester. And we're gonna put this on here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and crank it over, and let's see what we get. So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and take the plug off of it, which is down here. And what we're gonna do is test the harness to make sure everything is good from here. So I have my test light here, and you see I got one end grounded, which I just grounded it directly to the alternator housing. And here on the harness, you have this green with a red line going through it, red stripe. So that's the one we're going to be testing. Now I'm trying to not push the test light into the actual harness. I don't want to spread any of the terminals or the connectors. So I just have it gently sitting there. And let's go ahead and crank it over and see if the test light lights up. Okay, so as you can see, that test light did light up. So next thing we're gonna do is try to back probe the black wire now. And I'm just gonna use a little bobby pin. Okay, so I have that harness back probed, and I connected it back into the ignition coil. When you test this, you want it plugged into the ignition coil. So I just have some wires with alligator clips up here. I just thought it would be easier for you guys to see. So I have a Noid light connected to it, and I have the other end going directly to the ground. So this light should light up when you crank the engine over, and I believe that's a signal from the crank position sensor. So let's go ahead and crank over and see if this light turns on. So as you can see, the light did turn on. So at this point, everything checks out, and I'd have to go ahead and say it's the ignition coil that's bad. So now that we tested everything that needs to be tested, it's safe to start taking off the ignition coil and buy a new one to replace it. Okay, so now that we diagnosed that the ignition coil is bad, I took it off the car, and looking at it more closely, the camera would focus. See that crack right there? And there's another. Here's a big long one coming down here. And on the bottom side, look at that. So yeah, this thing's in pretty rough shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap the new part on and see if this bad boy start up. And that's all, guys, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.